Why are elections important for democracy? Elections help the people in the selection of their representatives. Elections are fundamental and a prerequisite for democracy. It is through elections that people exercise the power to choose or change their leaders. The elective representative act on behalf of the people, lead them and make laws for them. Power sharing is essential to avoid violent conflict, tyranny of the majority, and ensure political stability. Democratic rule and power sharing have close links. Power sharing is an integral component of the spirit of democratic rule. The fair, free, and credible election is one of the prerequisites of democratic governance. For an election to be free and fair, certain civil liberties such as the freedoms of speech, association, assembly are required. For a democracy to be successful, people must be aware of their fundamental right. The ballot is stronger than the bullet. They must be in touch with their representative to get their issues addressed and must participate in the electoral process. Citizens must be granted political rights which can be enforced by an independent judiciary. An opposition party is required to question the ruling party continually to keep tyranny in check and to ensure that the demands of the people are taken into account. As stated above, without genuine elections, democracy has no meaning. The importance of election in any democracy stems on the following basis: choice of leadership, change of leadership, political participation, and self-corrective system. In conclusion, it can be said that elections form the basis of democracy, and holding elections regularly and somewhat is what makes the process genuinely worth it. In a democracy, elections are needed to check on political parties as to what they are doing and make citizens responsible for their choices and nation. People of all backgrounds should be given the right to an equal vote after crossing the age bar of 18 years. A man without a vote is a man without protection. Remember, the ignorance of one voter in a democracy impairs the security of all.
The ignorance of the majority impair the security of all. I was saying it, and I like the quote by John F. Kennedy there. If you refuse to vote, minority will be the one that will take over. And look at it, all the elections that we'll be having, less than 50% partake in the election. For 37, 38, 39, 40, 42%. That's the minority. This time around, in fact, I hope you have learned to connect your PVC. You know we've been drumming it on this program because it's key to your success, to the electoral process, to your involvement. That is one. And I want to use this opportunity really to thank INEC for extending the time.
Yeah.
And we want to drum it to the Central Bank of Nigeria too. You are a public institution. The people are talking. You are there for the people, not for yourself. If the people say, give us more time, you give them more time. It's incumbent on you. 2 weeks, a month will not enjoy anything. But for you to say, no, we are not in a dictatorship system. We are in a democratic system, and that's why we are talking about democracy. It's a government of the people, by the people, for the people. Don't let me talk too much because my agent said, my guests are here. Don't mind me. You see, I'm talking about agent because I'm involved as an observer and elections activity, and I'm talking about client because I'm a lawyer. So I took him to be my client. Don't worry. We have a guest, and that is Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid. He's a human rights activist. He's a legal practitioner, public affairs analyst, a developmental expert, and a passionate Nigerian. A young Nigerian at that. If many young Nigerians would just take his cue, living a honest life and pursuing goodness, Nigeria will be the best. But again, don't let me talk too much. Tunji, you're welcome to this show.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here. I am glad that I'm here.
Yeah.
I want to greet you especially for this program. And I want to also appreciate the management of Galaxy for providing the opportunity to be able to educate and inform Nigerians regarding what to develop or grow our country. I think we need more stations to join in this regard. Kudos to Galas Television, and kudos to you as well.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you for this. In fact, my head can't swell.
Your head is swelling, Abi.
Gary Jebu. You put Gary Jebu in water.
Okay.
Thank you for that good encomiums and sentiment.
Thank you.
And now let's go cracking. The importance of the election in a democracy. Why do we say an election, and why must you have an election in a democracy anyway?
Yeah, we have to look at the definition of democracy.
Mm-hmm.
By popular definition that we all know.
Yes.
That popular definition is that democracy is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So in other words, when you talk about democracy, you are talking about the people. You are talking about the majority. You are talking about those who want to know how they are being governed and who will govern them. So that is the democracy. So for you to have democracy, you must have people. You must have people. And but it's all about people. You can see government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So it's all about people. So we must have people. And what are the people? It's a civic responsibility that we must participate in a democracy. So democracy is important because it will help us provide the kind of government that we all desire, that we all need. In other words, if you decide to vote people who are not competent, that means it is assumed that that's our desire. That's what we wanted. So whether or not you participate, whatever they take, decision they take, is binding on you. So democracy is an avenue to bring our voice out, to elect people that we want to represent us, that are people that will do what will benefit us as people.
But sometimes we have had situations where rather than election, what we have is selection. Is there a difference between election and selection?
Can we say selection? But what I know we have been having is election. It may not be absolutely in line with what people are interested in.
Then maybe let me go deeper. General election, yes, general election. But when it comes to primaries, generally now, before there was no issue of primaries. It took people like you and I to promote this aspect of no, we want internal democracy. Now that we have internal democracy, you still find out that in some parties, they don't have election. What they have is selection. Is this still part of democracy?
You see, we are having that situation because I will not blame the party in a way, generally. We will blame all of us. Because some of us have seen a party or being involved in political party activities or whatever as some see you as somebody who does not have any work. Some see you as unserious person. Some see you as a bad person or a wicked person. Some see you as exactly. So they allow policy to be played by people they have been given names, bad names. So they want to leave it to them. So what we are saying is that, look, if you have people who have been left to be in charge all through, and they will do it the way they want to do it. So, and that if they are selecting anybody, that means that's the way they want to do it, and you have left it to them to do it in other words. So allowing people to be there without you being interested is why we get what we call is this selection or what do you call it now? Because our constitution also even allow for what we call consensus.
Yes.
In other words, you don't have to.
No, I'm going to consensus.
So I'm trying to say, look, selection happens because what they will tell you is not selection. The political party will tell you it's not selection. It's consensus that we all agree. But people know that deep down, it is an interest by the people or what some people exactly. But those powers that be were able to achieve that because you and I are trying to abandon the process and leave it for them, and that's why we're having what we call a selection.
So now we want to grow democracy in Nigeria, and election is key in democracy. Why is it that people run away from election in democracy?
Ignorance is one of them.
Okay.
Ignorance. They don't know the importance of that election. They don't know that having a leader that have your interests will be a kind of security for your better economy, will be a security for good health, will be a security for good education, will be a security for security itself. You understand? So for good welfare. So if you know that if you have that importance at the back of your mind, you have it to say, look, I must participate, I must be involved. But people see it as, look, some people see it as we are just doing a favor for politicians. They did not see it as it's for us. We are fighting for ourselves. In fact, they see it as we are doing it for the politicians.
For the politicians and not for themselves.
Let's expand it. The closing remark of our reporter in the mini future, how I wish they can play it back, that closing remark, was saying that your inability to vote or your absenting yourself from vote is a security threat to the to everybody.
Of course.
Why is it so?
It is. Like I've just said it. You see, when you don't have people who have your interests at heart, you don't have people who are there to serve you. You don't have people who are there who don't have the interest of the nation at heart. You have people who will be doing their own personal bidding, and they won't consider your interests. In other words, if you have good government, you have good economy. If you have good government, you have good education. If you have good government, there won't be need for anybody traveling abroad for medical. There won't be any need for anybody to travel for education. Everything will be, our road will be in a good condition, and everything will be working in a way that is better. Your life will be better, my life will be better. So if you have that in mind. So if we are having what we are having today, because we have been having people who don't have our interests at heart, because the way they got into power is an issue. Because sometimes, you know, I will not even blame most of the politicians. All the blame to me, generally, I always blame us. Those, particularly those who are not participating. I don't always blame the politician. I blame those who are not participating. And some who are participating, based on personal interest. In other words, the small change they want to get. Because some people just see that, let me just collect my own, and then do whatever. I have seen people who tell you, this is the best man for the job, but he doesn't have money. So they go for that. So I blame people who are not participating. I blame people who participate based on what is the need for me in terms of how much are you giving me for me to vote for you or whatever. So what we need to be doing, and that's what we're doing, and that's why I say I want to thank you especially for the Galaxy TV for doing this, because that will give people enough opportunity to be able to know that, look, you're voting, participating in an election. You are not assisting anybody. You are not helping any politician. You are not anybody who's contesting. You are helping yourself. You are helping your own life. You are helping the future of your unborn generation and children. That's the way it is, because some people don't see it that way. You have to tell them. They'll say no. In fact, some people, it's like you want to beg them to come and vote. They were expecting you to come and be lobbying them and begging them to say come and vote, as if not forgetting that this is a civic responsibility that I must be involved in.
You know, during the mini feature, something was said that one of the importance of election is for other parties, not the ruling party now, the other parties, to actually keep the ruling party in check. Do you think that actually plays in our democracy in Nigeria?
Yeah, you see, without election, and it's probably like a monarchy system of government, when you know that there is no way until you are dead, nobody is coming. You'll be just be doing whatever you like, and so you have democracy to put all those people in check. Those who are in government will be in check to say, look, let me do well, so that other people behind me will not be able to take over from me if I don't want to live now, based on the law. So I think we are having what we're having, like I said earlier on, because of a lack of our knowledge about it and the ignorance of it. The government in power will see himself as autocratic if there is no other means of either checking them. In other words, they know that, look, whether we do well or not, we'll still continue.
Checking.
So if we have other opportunity, the way other party can challenge them, they will sit tight. So like I want to agree with you, there's an opportunity for other party to put the ruling party under pressure to be able to do well. You are right in that. I agree with you.
Yes.
Okay.
You have another question?
Yeah, I have another question, but I want you to just help us outline the importance of election now, not just democracy, in Nigeria's democracy, because we have to put democracy the way we actually see democracy in Nigeria. I'm very sure it's different from the way other countries see democracy in their country because of how we operate. Now, what are the importance of election in Nigerian democracy?
One is to enable us elect people who will represent and be our leader in a way. Those who will be in charge of our economy, those who will be in charge of our social and economic and development. It is also to enable us satisfy our conscience by bringing people who we believe can do the job for us. Is for us to have majority of people we know will be able to do the job in our interest. So the democracy, in a way, is just little thing. It's just to enable us appoint or elect people, election,
Yes.
is to enable us elect people that will represent our interests, that will be able to do things on our behalf, because we all cannot be in the leadership position. We must elect people, because democracy is about representation. So we must have people in there. So for us to be able to have people in that class, we must do election. That election will enable us elect people who will represent us, and to also now check people who are not doing well. In other words, if you are elected this particular year in Nigeria, for instance, in Nigeria we know we have 4 years. You are elected this year, you are not doing well. There is an opportunity for them to also check you by changing you and say, look, we don't want you again because not so. That election provide that opportunity. So it allows majority for it to be hard in terms of who governs them.
Yes, thank you very much for this enlightenment. And talking about checking, one of the reasons for having an election, putting these people on their toes, that government officers. Then what is it that the people should do in this checking? Is it just looking? Is it just going to forming a group? Like I was in a place yesterday, and I remember that those particular group of people were involved in ensuring that a candidate emerged for an office. And after the emergence, they didn't go and do anything again. Now it's now 4 years now. They are now campaigning again for that candidate. And I now told them, the first 4 years, did you go engage them? Did you put them on anything? Did you check on them? What is the role after the election itself now? One of the rules now in checking.
After the election?
Yes.
Well, let's talk about the role before election. Another word, we as a citizen, is our obligation to participate in the election. So in other words, participation here, I'm not talking only about voting, because people are always waiting for. I have my PVC. I have my PVC. Yeah. No, I don't believe in that. And the people will also tell you, should we all be politicians? No, I'm not saying everybody should be politicians. I'm not saying everybody should contest election. But if you are not involved in who becomes who emerge at the party level, then whatever you see is what you vote for. So even that's why what we are seeing today. Even if is by selection, that person that is selected will be the one you vote for, because you don't have much choice. So participation here means at the party level and at the polling units. You have to participate at the polling. You must be involved in what happened at the political party level. You must, in other words, we all may not be a member of a party, but ordinarily we all should be. We all should have a one party or the other.
Talking now, I just remember, we may not be party members, but we can galvanize thoughts. We can galvanize opinion in shaping even the way the party itself now picks
the candidate.
We can, but I wouldn't like to. I'm a participant fully, both voting and active involvement, because I don't. This my position that I can't stay outside and start talking and expecting to change. No, it's not. It will not happen, because if you are outside and you are telling people outside to say. You are trying to tell people inside to say this is the way you go. They say, what is your own?
What do you know?
Is it your team? Is it your party? It's our party. Let's go the way we want to talk.
If you are not there, you cannot put your mouth.
Exactly. Even if you are there, you cannot tell. If you are not there, you cannot tell them they don't do this thing very well.
Yeah.
That's the way they know how to do it. So if you know how to do it better, you join them. So if you stay outside, I don't believe in that principle. That's why I'm fully involved in it. If you stay outside and you say, look, this is the way it should be done. And you are talking from outside, and the way we are talking here now, we are trying to educate the rest of the people. We need to be more in terms of participation, and we need to ensure that we vote during the election. In other words, so we must get our PVC if we are qualified to vote, and then we must not see it as somebody must come and tell me or beg me or give me something before I can vote. It's your right. You are not helping me. In fact, that's why I tell my people. You are not helping me. You are helping yourself. You are doing it for yourself. You are not doing anybody a favor. It's a favor to yourself. So if you fail to vote, you are hurting yourself. You are creating a lot of problem for yourself, and that's why the education will be difficult for you to do. The health center will not be working. The water will not be there. All those things that are supposed to be there will not be there, because we are not doing the right thing. So we need to participate.
Now, one of our guests here, which is true, I experienced it too. A particular politicians did all that needs to be done, infrastructure, welfare and co. And of course, when it was time again for you to come, they say, well, the last time you did all the things you did, that one did not concern us. We didn't send you to go and develop the state. What we want you to do is that you roll out the money. So that you enjoy the money. Is that part of the process that we should be experiencing?
No, they were able to edge that kind of person out because people like you who will say no, this is all we want, are not there. You are speaking from outside, and your voice can only be heard. You cannot participate in their voting. So what will determine whether or not that is right or wrong is the voting, and you are not there. You can only talk.
So challenge me. I'm going to join a political party.
Of course. I say it, but people will tell me because if people like you, if we have so many people in the political party that have a good mindset, we may not one individual or two people or three people will not be able to impose their own interest on all of us. But because we have people who are there just to follow people or just to not to be able to do their bidding. And then you see another problem I see from my participation is that those people you call the godfather or the leaders, or those who say impose, they were able to do that because who pay the
who plays the tune,
dictate the tune. Thank you very much. You see, the point is that politics is about money.
Yes.
I won't lie to you. You need money. Logistics and other things. It's not why I say money here. I'm not talking. Whenever you say money in politics, people see that money you want to bribe. Logistics alone is millions, billions of naira to cater for logistics alone. It's money. On election day, for example, parties will have agents. Each agent will be giving transport money. Even if it's 1,000 naira, calculate times whatever we have in the country. The amount alone. And before that day, they are traveling from one place to another during campaign. It's logistics. It's money. So when one man is providing that money, and you expect that one man not to determine what happens in that party. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
So there's no way there won't be selection. And there is no way the interest of majority will not be sidelined because one man has taken the position of majority. Because what majority should be doing is only one man that is doing it. So that's why I say if we are not there, there are so many things that's underground that we people outside who are not members of the party or will not even understand, will not even know what is happening. So it is not for us to just sit and talk alone. We must also be involved in it. We must participate. That participation is the key.